right now at the Property Investor Show in London. We are on the stand of Enfield Council and I'm joined by Nick Martin, who is Head of Temporary Accommodation. And Nick, I'm kind of not surprised to see you here, but just tell me, why have you come down to the Property Investor Show in London?
We've come down to the show to try and promote kind of the Enfield-let brand. We currently work with a lot of letting agents to try and procure our accommodation, and we actually want to reach out to landlords directly so we can try and cut our costs and actually start working directly with agents on a lease basis and a private rented basis.
So I'm assuming that you've got a lot of people requiring accommodation on your waiting list.
Yep, we have in excess of 3,000 families waiting for accommodation, or they've been assessed and in temporary accommodation. So probably around about 1,500 of those who are waiting to get out into the private sector. And we have a large number of tenants that are waiting for kind of permanent council properties that are stuck in kind of high price sort of nightly paid accommodation. So we're looking to try and sort of bolster up kind of our own stock of properties on long-term leases with landlords and agents if they can do us a good deal, so that we can place some longevity on those tenancies so people aren't moving around quite so much.
So are you looking for landlords that have properties specifically in your borough, or would you consider landlords further afield?
We are primarily looking for landlords in our borough because the people that apply to us for housing obviously have connections with the borough. We will obviously kind of, if a tenant actually says that they'd like to move out of the borough anywhere in the UK, we will assist them in doing that. We will actually contact agents, say for Blackpool for example, someone wanted to move there. We found a property in the area for them, paid a deposit and a month's rent in advance for them to move there. So yes, we'll assist them to move anywhere they want.
Now, some of these council leasing schemes, and speaking as a landlord and knowing what our community thinks, some of our landlords are a bit reticent about them. They're worried about the type of tenants they're going to be put in them. And really, I guess you're looking to build confidence within the landlord community that this is something that they can consider. What do you feel are the advantages to landlords for taking up one of your leases or schemes?
On the lease basis, it's a no-hassle let. So we're looking to take the property off their hands for a 3-year lease or a 5-year lease. We're looking to cover kind of damages beyond wear and tear. We're looking to up the offer we can to cover sort of certificates, gas cover on boilers, etc. So that the landlord can literally hand over the keys and we can look after it for 3 years and they don't get a phone call.
It's almost like a guaranteed rent kind of.
It's a guaranteed rent, paid quarterly in advance as well. So we're trying to sort of like kind of make it as attractive as possible. We also have another scheme, which is a home finder scheme, which is a private rental, where we can pay more towards market rents, and we pay incentives to assist the landlord with that. Now, obviously, the only risk for the landlord there is that kind of housing benefit is paid. We do arrange for housing benefit to be paid to the landlord wherever we can. However, if the tenant falls into arrears, it's obviously the risk for the landlord with that. However, obviously with a higher rental, there's a higher risk. Obviously with the lower rent on lease, obviously it's low risk and obviously we can guarantee it.
Now, as we've just been talking off camera, there's been this new tax regime introduced 2 years ago, which is now coming into effect, which is really detrimental to landlords and is deterring a lot of them from not only expanding their portfolios, but a lot of landlords are actually thinking of leaving the private rented sector because of this very onerous tax regime. Now, for you at the coalface, with 1,500 people in need of private sector housing on your waiting list, are you wondering what's going on here?
Well, I mean, it works in 2 ways. Obviously, we don't want those landlords to leave the market because we need them to stay with us. But obviously, it could mean that other landlords maybe that want to stay in the market might pick up those properties. It might give us an opportunity to buy them ourselves. We have a housing company where we purchase properties as well. So it's not great for a lot of landlords to leave the market because it could create a huge homelessness problem for us, because if they exit the market, they're going to serve notice. Those clients could end up coming down to see us, and obviously we're going to have to rehouse them, and it's not going to be possible to put them back into the same properties. So it is a major issue and something we're kind of keeping a close eye on.
I'm glad to hear that you are aware of it, because I think there is a disconnect at government level, and perhaps to call you, sort of say you are at the coalface. You are seeing these requests coming in of people in a desperate need of private sector accommodation, and yet landlords are being disincentivised by government and by new policies not to continue on. It's making your job so much harder for sure.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Things are quite tough at the moment, have been for a while. So yeah.
So anybody watching this that has a property in the Enfield area
Or surrounding areas.
what can they do? Can they just call up the temporary accommodation department?
Yeah, we've got contact details on our website for kind of enfield@enfield.gov.uk. We've got a landlord line 0208 379 4320, and that can be answered by any one of the team. And obviously we're trying to provide a service where we can tailor every landlord's need basically.
And you're quite happy to hear from landlords and just talk them through what the different offerings are.
Correct.
And help them decide if it's something that they might be interested in considering.
Yes, definitely. We'll talk to everyone. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me here on Property Tribes TV at the Property Investor Show in London. Really interesting to talk to you, and I do wish you good luck with the important work that you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.